ask Nick Barlow to stand by, and I call Josephine Sakura-Rose, who wishes to speak against lines 16 to 20 and lines 55 to 59. Jasmine.
Hello, conference. My first time speaking, and what a way to do it. Talking against lines in a modern apple pie motion. Well, if you're going to speak for the first time, you might as well do it properly. I'm speaking against lines 16 to 20 and lines 55 to 58. I suppose it's almost a cliche at this point, and do get your bingo cards at the ready, but I am appalled. I am appalled that in a motion that talks about the unique and vital role the BBC has to play in informing and educating people, we are cheerleading the idea that people who cannot afford to pay the licence fee should end up being prosecuted. I'm appalled that we have a motion that talks about the non-payment of a TV licence fee as something that can only be dealt with through the court system. That's not how things are handled in other avenues in life, when people can't afford to pay for a service that we recognise as being vital and a necessity to them. Yet here's a motion that champions the idea that people who cannot afford the TV licence fee must be prosecuted. Now, I guess a number of you will be saying, oh, prosecuting somebody, that's a thing for people who refuse to pay. Oh, how I wish that was true. Several months ago, I wrote about this, my very first article that was published. I was very proud of that. I did what we all do in those situations, passed it around and asked, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Eager puppy syndrome. Imagine what I felt when a number of people turned around and said that the article didn't mean anything to them. They don't pay their licence fee and they don't fear prosecution because they think they know all the tricks to avoid being prosecuted. They're relatively well off, or at least not having to worry about having enough money to get to the end of the week or even the end of the day. But this is not true for where I live. I live in a deprived area somewhere between Merthyr Tydfil and Caerphilly. Here, many people live in poverty. Large numbers of people, mostly women, hold down 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet, and they don't know these tricks. These are the people who get prosecuted because they cannot afford to pay for access to a vital and necessary service. These are the people who face being prosecuted, maybe even lose their employment as a result, because as a country we still cheerlead the concept that we should criminalise being poor. That when it comes down to access to a vital and necessary service, we somehow think it is right we criminalise living in poverty. Conference, I am appalled and I am ashamed at the inclusion of these lines, and lines 55 to 58 especially, and I ask you to vote to remove them in the separate vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. And Jasmine was a first-time speaker at conference.